For decades, I focused on analyzing trauma responses. My trauma erase method focuses on 6 steps to heal a trauma response, but I was missing something and I didn't even realize it. It wasn't until I discovered attachment theory and my own healing and how I've been using analysis to avoid experiencing emotion that I realized what was missing in my work with clients, in the stuff I'm putting on YouTube, and in my own healing journey. It's really all about recognizing the fear that comes up for us when we want to connect with other people and how to do that effectively. That healing depends upon. In this video, I share my story of discovery and why now I'm passionate about helping you understand your attachment style and how to heal it so you can move beyond trauma and into thriving relationships. It was just this morning when I realized that my entire career has been focused on this low key motivation to help people stop feeling uncomfortable instead of helping them learn how to experience their feelings and to use those experiences to help them understand themselves and then move from there to ask for their needs to be met in a safe, secure situation. And then I realized this morning I was outside playing with my dog and I realized that, gosh, the reason I've never done that is because I've never experienced it. Not ever. Not even once in any of the therapy have I ever had someone just track and attune to my emotions. That made me realize why is not something that ever crossed my mind as something that I should be doing to help people heal. Have you ever felt like therapy or just life in general has been more about suppressing your uncomfortable emotions than it has been about healing and developing secure connections? So it was also this morning when I realized that my tendency to over evaluate, I'm a left brained person, and I came from a family where there was a lot of out of control emotion, and emotion didn't feel safe. So, because of that, my trauma response style became how can I understand and logic through these emotions and get them to stop controlling me? But what I did inadvertently was actually go way too far into the extreme of not experiencing emotions. And it was today, I was today years old when I realized that I've been missing out on so much of human experience because this natural part of me, emotion, is not just about helping me figure out what's safe and not safe. And that's how I've used it my entire life. But this morning, and it's been a evolving awareness, I've come to realize that there is so much of life and so much emotion. Feeling is not about experiencing safety only. That's maybe 20% of the world figuring out how to be safe. But moving from that safety into exploration, into experiencing beauty, into experiencing moments of pure joy, that's 80%. Sorry, guys, this is still very fresh for me. So over the last 3 years when I've been doing YouTube, I have wondered why people didn't feel as much of a connection. And it's because I have been doing YouTube from a perception of this is how you do it. Like construction workers would put together a house. This is how you heal from trauma. And I've almost completely left out the emotional component of who we are as human beings. So now, realizing and growing as a human myself, I'm back talking about this piece that's been missing and talking about how to bring it into our lives. I myself, all I had to do was realize, oh, I'm shutting off all of the feelings instead of experiencing my emotions. And I said, oh, well, that's easy. I can start experiencing them. I've been experiencing them. I'm not afraid anymore. But as long as I've kept them shut down, I felt afraid because my feelings were shut down. Now, I was watching a movie with my partner last night, and during these moments, which have never made me cry, I'm crying because I'm feeling the feelings in the moment and experiencing it. And it's really much more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's really much more of an experience. It's more of a ride. It's more of a immersive feeling, experience when we can connect with our emotions, when we watch movies, when we interact with other people, when we play with our dog. So, the relentless focus that I've had on how to make yourself recognize whether you're safe or not has been only 20% of the journey. And now I'm here to open up the other 80%. During my course of my life, I've also wondered why. I felt maybe, has it been dismissive, avoidant attachment style? Has it been that I'm just a recluse? Why is it that I haven't connected with other people, with friends? My partner is so gregarious and he's such an open, warm human, but I've never sort of cared to do that. Why? Because my feelings have been shut down. And I've only been looking at feelings in terms of, am I safe or am I not safe? And so that's been the missing piece in my programs for healing trauma. So, how did I discover? As a marriage and family therapist, we have to have about 36 hours of continuing education every 2 years. And this time I stumbled upon the work of Dr. Sue Johnson and her emotion focused therapy and attachment theory. She talks about attachment differently than I've seen it talked about anywhere else. So other people have talked about attachment theory sort of as if you have dismissive avoidant attachment or anxious attachment, that or disorganized attachment, then there's something really wrong with you and your style. What Sue Johnson says, and it so resonated with me on a deep level, is that we have anxious attachment strategies or avoidance strategies. And the idea that disorganized attachment is not an adult attachment style, that's something seen in infants. But in adults, that same disorganized type of attachment we call fearful avoidant. It makes so much sense to me. And when we look at these things this way, we understand that attachment is all about creating our our deep soul desire to create a deep, safe, nurturing, predictable connection with someone who we know to be reliable, available, and emotionally connected. When we look at it that way, suddenly I'm not completely flawed as an avoidant attachment or a anxious attachment person. Instead, I, as a human, am growing and looking for a connection. And yes, I have fears and longings and hopes that maybe haven't been met in the past, but it doesn't mean they can't be met in the future. It tells me that whatever your attachment style is, it doesn't mean that you're flawed. It means that there are strategies that are specifically helpful to help you identify and connect with safe, available people instead of trying to connect with people who are matching sort of the panicked, dangerous, unavailable people that we knew from childhood. So there's some key principles that Sue Johnson talks about that resonated deeply with me that I'm going to start talking about on this channel. One of them is that we were born to bond. We were born to bond. And if we had bonding experiences growing up that told us that we weren't okay to bond or that bonding wasn't safe, and so we learned these strategies that we now have in adulthood, those were smart strategies. And there's nothing wrong with those strategies. And it's okay to say, yep, I learned those when I was growing up. But the context for healing today is in the connections that we have today or the connections we can build today. Another shift that you'll see in my channel is that I've been talking about healing trauma responses on our own. But as I look back and I think about my life and what I've been doing to heal myself and how I developed a relationship with a securely attached person, is that when we find safe, secure, available people, and we allow that safety to sort of create a safe environment for us, we have to trust, and it's risky and difficult to do that. But when we do that, then that container with the safe person is what creates the environment for healing. And so we are much more likely and prone to heal in context of relationship. So I would before say, okay, work through this on your own and figure out what your trauma responses are. At best, I would say, then do a perception check with your partner. But now I'm understanding that the piece that's missing is that solid, secure connection that maybe we never have had. But when we do find it, then we're able to find emotional balance in the context of relationship when we're with someone who sees us well. When I say when we're with someone, it doesn't mean it has to be an intimate partner. It could be a loving friend. It could be mentors. It could be people inside my community, the Joyful Alliance. It could be your relationship to God. Here's the thing. Babies can't do this, but as adults, we can develop this inner sense of a person who is secure and has provided a sense of safety for us. And we can use that to help ourselves heal. So I'll be talking about that more on my channel. So the other thing that I love about Sue Johnson's way of looking at attachment and what has been blowing my mind and what has allowed me to become more emotionally available to myself and to my partner and to possibilities. It's still a little overwhelming to me to think that I'm 58 and I haven't experienced world through emotions in a positive, fulfilling way. But the possibility of doing that and just the tiny glimpse of what I'm seeing as I'm starting to explore it for myself is overwhelming and very exciting. And so I'm going to start talking about that. But the benefits to secure attachment are it increases our resilience, it increases our emotional well being, and it helps us build positive relationships. It also helps us identify who's safe and who's not. So I just wanted to pop in quickly and tell you that that's the direction I'm going to take with my channel. I'm going to start uploading again with teaching you about looking at attachment in this way. I'm going to start really focusing on how to heal your trauma with a lens on attachment, because I think it's super important. If we don't heal those emotional parts of ourselves that allows us to really experience life, then we haven't healed. And I'll be the first to say that. So thank you for watching. From my heart to yours, I appreciate you for being here. And I look forward to the joyful road that we'll experience moving forward. Not just healing trauma responses, but doing it in a connected, safe, more and more securely attached way. I'm Tamara Ridge. Thanks for watching.